Okay, so we've got a mountain of articles, personal stories, all sorts of stuff about USANA health sciences. And we're going to try to, I don't know, figure out what this whole cellular health thing is all about, right?
Yeah, it seems like everyone's talking about it these days.
Right. So we're lucky to have you here to help us unpack all of this, with your knowledge of, well, everything, health and wellness.
Happy to be here. I have to admit, it's not every day you get to dig into a company that's so into cutting-edge science, but also has these, really personal stories attached to it. It's
Mm,
kind of a unique combo.
totally. And speaking of unique, the stuff you sent over mentioned that USANA wasn't started by some, business hotshot. It was founded by a scientist, Dr. Myron Wentz. What's the deal with that?
Well, the really interesting thing is that Dr. Wentz wasn't just any scientist. He was a big deal in the world of infectious diseases. But get this, he had this idea that instead of just treating diseases, what if we could prevent them in the first place?
Oh, I see. Get ahead of the problem.
Exactly. And he believed that the key to that was focusing on something called cellular health. He figured if you could get your cells healthy, the basic building blocks of your body, you could prevent a whole lot of problems down the road. So that's basically the foundation of USANA.
So it all starts at the cellular level, huh? That's pretty fascinating. But to be honest, I need a little refresher here. What exactly does cellular health even mean, and how does USANA go about, improving it?
Sure, so cellular health just means how well your cells are functioning. And USANA's approach really comes down to this idea of providing your body with what they call bioavailable nutrients.
Bioavailable.
Yeah, it's a mouthful, right?
Yeah, okay.
Basically, it means that their products are designed in a way that makes it really easy for your body to absorb and use the nutrients. Think of it like this. You could eat a whole bag of vitamins, but if your body can't actually absorb those vitamins, it's kind of pointless, right?
It makes sense.
Mm.
So USANA is all about making sure the nutrients actually get to where they need to go.
Exactly. And they put tons of money into research to make sure their products are as bioavailable as possible. Because to them, that's a huge part of supporting cellular health. But of course, none of that really matters if it doesn't translate into real life results, right?
Right, that's where the proof is, I guess.
And that's where those personal stories you mentioned come in. Remember Tracy's story, the retail manager who had MS?
Oh, yeah, yeah. Her story was really powerful. She talked about how after she started using USANA products, she saw a huge difference in her mobility and her energy levels.
Exactly. Now, it's super important to point out that USANA isn't claiming to cure diseases like MS. But what Tracy's story, and others like it, seem to suggest is that this whole idea of targeted nutrition, well, it might actually make a difference in how people feel and how well they're able to function, especially when they're dealing with a tough condition.
Targeted nutrition, huh? So it's like not just giving your body any old nutrients, but the specific ones it needs to thrive.
Exactly. It's like providing your cells with the exact tools they need to do their jobs.
Yeah.
And Tracy's story is just one example. We see this theme over and over again. Like, for instance, there's Angela, who's an educator. She has struggled with asthma her whole life.
Oh, wow. I read about her too. She said that using USANA products was like, I don't know, a breath of fresh air. No pun intended.
Right. But it wasn't just about breathing easier for her. It was about the freedom it gave her. She could suddenly do things she'd always avoided because of her asthma.
Yeah, her story and Tracy's, they both kind of highlight that while these USANA products aren't meant to be treatments, they might be doing something to help the body, heal itself and become more resilient by providing those essential building
It's
blocks.
a great way to put it. And it's not just individuals seeing these kinds of results. USANA's actually teamed up with some pretty impressive athletic organizations, too.
Yeah, we're talking big names here. The U.S. Ski and Snowboard Association, the Women's Tennis Association, or WTA, those are just a couple. Wow, those are some serious athletes. So does USANA, make special products just for them or what?
It's not so much about specialized products, but more that their whole philosophy, cellular health, optimal nutrition, all that, it just really clicks with what these athletes need.
Yeah.
Think about it. These are people who push their bodies to the max every single day.
Yeah, that makes sense.
They need every edge they can get when it comes to recovering, having energy, just feeling good overall.
Right, like you were saying before, giving your cells the best tools for the job. And in this case, those tools are those bioavailable nutrients that USANA is so big on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the fact that these world-class athletes, and let's be real, their teams too, are putting their trust in USANA, it says a lot, don't you think? It's not just about, someone hitting the gym a couple of times a week. This is about performing at the very top level.
That's a really good point. So we're seeing this focus on cellular health, bioavailability, and how that can benefit everyday people like Tracy and Angela, but also how it can help elite athletes reach peak performance. It's pretty impressive, the range that USANA seems to cover. But we also came across some information about their philanthropic work. Can you tell us more about that?
Oh, absolutely. We touched on the True Health Foundation a bit earlier, but it's not just some little side project for USANA. It's a big part of who they are. They're really out there trying to tackle malnutrition and make sure people who are struggling have access to essential nutrition.
It's one thing to talk about making a difference, but it sounds like they're actually out there on the ground making it happen.
No, for sure. They're not just talking the talk.
Hmm.
They're providing meals, helping out with disaster relief, even setting up programs that are designed to last, to help communities escape that cycle of poverty and not having enough to eat.
That's amazing.
It all comes down to recognizing that good health is a basic human right, and they're actually taking steps to make that a reality for more people.
I love that. So we've talked about where USANA came from, their dedication to products that are backed by science, how those products might improve someone's health, their work with these incredible athletes, and now their global efforts to give back. It's quite a story. But there's one more piece of the puzzle we haven't looked at yet, the business opportunity that comes with USANA.
Right. We kind of touched on it earlier, but it's worth digging into a little bit more. So alongside their products, USANA offers individuals a chance to build their own businesses. And guess what? Those businesses revolve around those very same products.
So it's not just about improving your own health, but potentially your financial well-being too.
Yeah, you got it. So people can work on their own health and at the same time, maybe even create a source of income by sharing these products with others and telling them about the business opportunity.
Gotcha. So how does this business model actually work? There's something in the material about multi-level marketing.
Yeah, you're right. USANA uses a multi-level marketing structure, or MLM, as it's often called. So it's not just about selling products directly to people. Individuals can actually create a team of distributors who also sell the products. And as your team expands and sells more, you earn commissions on their sales too.
Ah, so it's all about building a network, like a ripple effect, right? Your success helps others succeed, and their success helps you.
That's a perfect way to put it. It's about tapping into the power of connections and community to build a business that's not only profitable, but also rooted in these shared values and a genuine passion for health and wellness.
I can see how this kind of model would really speak to people who are entrepreneurial and love connecting with others.
Definitely. And it goes back to what we were talking about earlier about USANA empowering people. They give you the tools, the products, and the support, but it's up to you to put in the work, build that network, and create the business you want.
It's really inspiring, actually. But it's also important to be realistic, right? I mean, this kind of business model, it probably has its challenges too. What are some things that someone who's thinking about this opportunity should keep in mind?
Oh, for sure. You always got to be realistic.
Yeah.
USANA gives you the structure and the support, but at the end of the day, multi-level marketing, it's like any other business. It takes real work, dedication, and you got to be good at connecting with people.
Makes sense. And I'm guessing there's a learning curve too. It's not just like, here's a product, go sell it. You've got to learn the whole system, how to build a team, basically, how to be your own boss, right?
Absolutely. Anyone who's thinking about this, they need to go in with their eyes wide open. It's not some get-rich-quick thing. It takes effort, commitment,
Hmm.
if you want to actually build a successful business.
So it's about being honest with yourself about what you want and what you're willing to put in. But something I've always wondered about multi-level marketing, you hear such different opinions about it. Some people love it, some people not so much.
Yeah, that's true. Multi-level marketing, well, it's had its share of both, fans and critics. I think the most important thing is for people to really do their homework, understand how it all works, and then decide if it's the right fit for them, their values, their goals, all of that.
So, as with anything else, it's about making an informed decision. Well, we've covered a ton today. We started with the science behind this whole cellular health thing, looked at how USANA's approach might translate into real-life benefits, their work with elite athletes, their global outreach efforts, and now this whole business side of things. It's pretty amazing the scope of what they're doing.
It really is. And it all goes back to that original vision of Dr. Wentz's, right?
Mhm.
Shifting the focus from just treating problems to preventing them, giving individuals the power to take control of their own health.
I love that. And as we wrap things up here, it makes me think, what could this approach mean for you listening? Whether it's learning more about cellular nutrition, checking out USANA's story, or just, starting to think more about preventative health, it all begins with curiosity and being open to new possibilities.
Couldn't have said it better myself. It's been great being here.
Thanks for joining us. And to everyone listening, remember, knowledge is power. Keep asking questions, keep exploring, and we'll catch you on our next deep dive.